Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a chief analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report. Let's start with the calendar because the calendar is super busy on Wednesday, definitely the most important day. We started with the speech from Governor Kuroda from Bank of Japan. After this, we had pack of data from UK. So we had GDP, which came, depending from the source, some of the sources were telling us about the consensus on zero point 0.2. We got 0.2. This calendar is showing us the consensus on 0%, so this data was slightly better. But we also got industrial production, manufacturing production, and all those numbers came much better than expectations, regardless from the source. So this is definitely positive information for the British pound. This is not it. We still have the interest rate decision, deposit rate from European Central Bank, and also the policy statement and press conference from European Central Bank. So super important day for the euro. This is not it. We also do have an inflation, CPI from US, and inflation recently is very important data, the most important next to the interest rate decision itself. So definitely a day after this day, during this day, we should get increased volatility on the market. Tomorrow will be a bit more quiet, so we'll have inflation from China and inflation from Germany. So definitely today is the day. With that being said, let's see the charts, and we'll start with the Australian dollar to American dollar, where we do have a proper buy signal. We had this buy signal yesterday. At the second half of the day, the price went lower. As you can see, we came below this support, but this breakout can be perceived as a fake, as a false breakout. So we do have a reaction on this false breakout, which is a strong decisive upswing, and I would like to remember you that on a daily chart this is super important because it's the breakout of the long-term dynamic resistance. The candle from yesterday, daily candle from yesterday, is terrible. This is a shooting star. It almost always brings a sell signal, especially if it's present in such an important place. But today we are canceling the shooting star. So daily candle closing around those levels or slightly higher will be proper invitation to go long on the Australian dollar to American dollar, and this all will be based on this fact of the breakout of the major downtrend line. So daily chart closing around current levels will be a proper buy signal. Next one is the DAX, where after a strong uptrend we had this wedge formation. Surprisingly, we broke to the downside. Okay, fair enough. So buy signal is, let's say, maybe not over, but we have a pause in the uptrend. I think that the buy signal should be renewed when the price will climb above the pink area. As long as we stay below the pink area, I don't think it's a good thing to buy right now. Let's check the Fibos. The correction so far went to 23.6, but we may get as deep as 38.2. So the price being below the pink area is a mood killer for now, and I don't think that there's a buy signal anymore. The buy signal will be triggered again when the price will break this pink line. Now, dollar index is continuing this head and shoulder pattern inside the bigger ascending triangle pattern. As the ascending triangle is bigger, it's a major formation here, so the price should continue to move in the ascending triangle pattern. But again, we are in the middle of this formation, which is absolutely the worst place to trade because chances for an upswing right now are the same as chances for the downswing in the short term and the mid term. In the long term, this formation promotes the uptrend, but for the uptrend, we should see the breakout of the horizontal resistance first. American dollar to Russian ruble, what we got here is the breakout of this horizontal support. We use this support as a resistance, and now that price is going lower, and the potential target for this downswing is on the orange support, and my view on the euro to Russian ruble is negative. Next one is crude with absolute positive sentiment. The biggest oil producers are happy again. So Saudi Arabia is commenting that the current price is quite nice. Recently we got comments from Russia that they are satisfied with the current prices of oil. The only person who is not satisfied, well, millions of drivers, for example in Europe, are complaining about the rising prices of oil. But from the main figures, obviously Donald Trump is complaining about the high price of the oil. Low price of the oil was one of the factors that he was using against or in the negotiations with other countries like Saudi Arabia, all Gulf countries, or for example Russia, that was part of the macroeconomic pressure factor on those countries. Cable today is climbing higher. This is supported by this data from UK, but the scale of the movement is very low, so we cannot say that this data sparked super strong upswing, because as for now the daily change is 40 pips, which for pound, which for cable is absolutely nothing. 40 pips is absolutely nothing. What is happening on the cable right now is that the price is defending mid-term, long-term uptrend line, but we are still inside of the symmetric triangle, so nothing special. As long as we stay above the lower orange line, the sentiment is positive. As long as we stay below the orange line, the sentiment is negative. So there is no buy signal, there is no sell signal. S&P 500 eventually broke this midterm uptrend line, went lower, but now we're having a small pullback. But with this breakout, I think that the price will aim for the black line or the yellow line, or for the combination of those two lines to test that area as a support. I think, in my opinion, the chances for this kind of movement are quite high. American dollar to Russian ruble is moving in the way that we were expecting yesterday. So yesterday we were expecting further drop, and this idea of a bigger drop comes from the movement from Monday. So on Monday the price came below the orange line. Yesterday we had a test of this orange line as a resistance. Test was positive for sellers, and now the price is climbing lower. So we're just moving from the false breakout here to the false breakout here. This is currently the false breakout, which is legitimate right now. So I will continue with my outlook from yesterday. As long as we stay below the orange area, the sentiment is negative. Bitcoin is pushing higher. Maybe not, we're not having new highs, but the Bitcoin is keeping the price high, which itself can be considered as kind of a success for the Bitcoin holders or hodlers, especially if we will see what happened like few weeks ago. We are inside of the ascending triangle pattern, which promotes the price getting to $6,000 for one Bitcoin. And for me, price getting to the $6,000 for one Bitcoin is the base scenario right now. Now New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar, I do have a short position here, which is already on the break-even point, as you can see, so I'm not gonna lose money on this position. This setup is based on the weekly chart of the false breakout above the dynamic resistance and a horizontal resistance and a bearish engulfing pattern on a weekly chart. Today, the price is trying a reversal. Actually, this week the price tries to reverse. We are trying to create a hammer on a weekly chart, which can be a start of a correction. This is why I need to protect my order with the break-even point, because once the hammer will be created, we can see a further upswing, and I don't want to lose on this position once I already have a nice profit. Euro dollar will be definitely affected by today's data, so you can see here data is really soon, 1 hour 7 minutes, and then 1 hour 52 minutes. Before the data, we are still under the influence of the inverse head and shoulder pattern, left shoulder, head and right shoulder. On Monday, we broke the neckline, which brought us a buy signal. First target was reached yesterday, so 38.2 FIBO was reached yesterday. Today the price tested the neckline again. I think that the buy signal here from this breakout is over. It's over because yesterday we reached a resistance, we reached the target, but the new buy signal will be triggered when the price will break 38.2. As long as we are below 38.2, there is no new buy signal. So buy signal after the breakout here and sell signal after the breakout of the lower line of the wedge, because that's also a possibility that the price will create a wedge instead of, well, we made inverse head and shoulder pattern. Additionally to this, we can make a wedge after this. Next one is American dollar to Swiss franc, which is having really the most beautiful bearish setup, but no sell signal yet. Everything looks awesome, everything looks ready for the sell signal, but the price is not declining. Let me tell you why. First of all, we have a beautiful downswing, then we do have a correction. This is a flag or a wedge. Wedge is retracing 50% of the drop. So we do have a resistance as in the upper line of the wedge is a resistance, then 50% FIBO is a resistance, then those highs are resistance. Then we do have a neckline of the triple top formation, and everything was in one place here. Everything was in one place on Friday. The price went lower, but the proper sell signal would be triggered when the price would break the lower line of the wedge and 38.2. Now we are aiming for 50% again. Again, we do have an intraday bearish correction, but again, the sell signal will be triggered only when the price will break 38.2. For the sell signal, I would need to see the breakout of this support. As long as we don't have the breakout of this support, there is no sell signal. There is only a nice bearish setup. That's all what it is. That's all what we have here. And the next instrument is a beautiful clean sell setup on the American dollar to Japanese yen. So what we have here is an uptrend. The price creates a head and shoulder pattern, left shoulder, head and right shoulder. There is a breakout of the neckline, there is a breakout of the horizontal support, and after this breakout, which happened yesterday, we do have a correction, and that's a typical correction after such a drop. And this correction is aiming the horizontal resistance, previous supports. We want to test the previous supports as the closest resistances. As long as we stay below the yellow area, the sentiment is negative. Price closing a day above the yellow area will be a signal to buy. But as long as we are below, there is a good occasion to sell, especially that this correction, I'm just gonna change the color, especially that this correction is creating a flag, which is a trend continuation pattern. So after this flag, we should see the further drop. Now New Zealand dollar to American dollar, where we do have a major sell signal after we broke those dynamic supports, but recently we do have a pullback. Pullback itself can be a good occasion to open new short positions, so price aiming higher is an occasion for the sellers, especially that this upswing is a flag. So this is actually an interesting occasion to go short on the New Zealand dollar to American dollar. Next one is gold, where I also do have a long position here. Long position comes from the fact that we had this hammer, and it was Thursday. On Friday we had a hammer again. The place where the hammer was created is not random because it's the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern, so it's a beautiful place to go long. The price indeed goes long, and well, I am just very happy that the price is going higher. Because I'm a fan of gold and most of my trades were profitable on gold, and I continue this good streak of wins on this instrument. My order is already protected on stop profit. I'm looking forward for the breakout of the upper line of the flag and continuation of this rise. Another instrument where I'm already on stop profit here is Australian dollar to Swiss franc. Long position here, stop loss was here, now it's on stop profit, take profit is here, maybe I will lower my take profit a little bit. So what's happening here is I told you that the price did not manage to break the horizontal support, so instead of this they went higher and started to make higher highs and high lows. As long as the price makes higher highs and high lows, we do have a long signal, we do have a positive sentiment. Price making higher highs and high lows is an indication of an upswing, so it's really good that I managed to open this position some time ago and it's on profit. So I have free trading setups right now, free trading positions, all of them are on profit, all of them are protected on stop profit, and I just allow the price to move, I allow my profits to continue. I don't want to capture them now because that can be premature. Sometimes all you need for your trading account is one good trade that you will hold for days or weeks or months that can bring you really sweet profit, and with this one profit can cover like 20 of your losses, for example. So guys, sometimes you need a home run. This is from baseball, but I think that everybody knows what the home run is, and I'm waiting for this kind of a trade on one of those free trades that I already have. Guys, thanks very much for attending the daily analytical report. I hope you enjoyed this, and I wish you all the best in trading, and see you tomorrow.